Hey everyone, if you are here, we are here live. This is Marnie Batista from First 100K Coach Academy, sporting my fancy red lipstick to talk about how to overcome overwhelm. So I'm just checking on our phone line to make sure that everything is good. So Brady, are you on the line? I I have, and so far it's saying me and I'm on, and it says live, but it says 0 viewers. Oh, okay. Well, I hit live, um, and it says it's playing. Okay, well, it says, oh, it says 2 viewers. So I'm not sure. Let's see if I can get the chat box. I don't know if there's anyone here. We're having some tech issues trying to figure out if you can hear us or see us. So if you can see me, please let me know. It says there's 8 viewers, but I okay. How are we doing? If you just joined us, we're doing tech check. So welcome. So Brady, are you good? Are we good? All right. Okay, awesome. Welcome everyone. Marnie Batista here from First 100K Coach Academy, and I'm really excited to be doing this live Google Hangout. I always like to feel like I can be seen, and I did wear the fancy red lipstick today. So we haven't done a Google Hangout in a while, and we definitely haven't done very many without slides. So I'm going to ask for your understanding and patience as I talk to you, but also look at my notes. We are going to be here doing this training for about 45 to 50 minutes, and then I want to answer any questions that you have about our Rev Up live event that's next week, or the training. So for those of you who are coming to Rev Up, I'm going to talk to you for about 30 seconds. This is really important material for you because you are going to come and you are going to get a full blueprint on how to execute and start your business, right, to get to that 100K with a long-term vision on the future. And it's important that when you leave there, you're not overwhelmed and you don't procrastinate. So this is like part of the pre-work. You've been getting pre-work to get you pumped up and ready for that training next week. If you're not coming to Rev Up, well, hopefully by the end, when we tell you our special new way that you can come and you don't have to leave your house, you're going to totally be able to use this in your business for what you've got going on, but also when you explode into six-figure realm. So, okay, great. Awesome. Everybody on tech team saying we look good. We're ready to go. Okay, so for those of you who don't know me, let me tell you a brief little piece of my story. Bottom line is this. I am just an ordinary woman who was divorced. I was a nursery school teacher, and I knew that I had a gift, but I wasn't sure what it was. But I had an idea. And like a lot of people on the planet, I thought I would write a book. I wanted to write a book about my divorce, about getting through my divorce, learning how to date, what I thought really people could use to avoid all the mistakes that I made. And in the space of that, I hired some help. I hired an expert. And I said, I want to write a book. And he really was very wise. And he said, you know what? A book is not a business. You need to build a platform. I was like, platform? So explain that to me. And at the same time, I was doing some personal development work as a trainer and facilitator for an organization called the Hoffman Institute. And I was talking to some of my colleagues there about how I wanted to write this book and I need to build a platform. And at that moment, it became really clear to me that I already really was, in some ways, a coach. And so the idea was born to launch Dating with Dignity. Now, that was in 2009, and in our first year, we were able to have a revenue of over $100,000. I think it was like 135 to be exact. Not only that, but it was profitable. I actually took money home, which I'm all about. And we continue to double and double, and we have very, very exciting to be part of that 7-figure. Now, not only was I able to create revenue so that I could be a provider for my family, save money for my kids to go to college. My first one's going to college, and it's a really cool feeling to know that I have money to pay for it, to be able to go on vacations, to really save for retirement, like things that when I got divorced, I didn't think I would ever be able to do. In addition, and this is really the most important, I think, I've been able to serve so many women and help them find love of themselves and find someone to love. And I know for you, that's what you're all about. You want to make money, but you also want to be able to serve people and make an impact and live a life where you get to give your gift every single day. So as a result of the success that I created at Dating with Dignity, some big coaches started noticing and paying attention. And so we've been able to create partnerships and work with some of the most successful coaches kind of in the world. And to call them my colleagues and my friends has been really, really an honor. And for those of you who are coming to Rev Up, a few of my friends are going to be speaking, like Lisa Sasevich and Noah St. John and Liana Choli. And that's really a result of following through on the principles that we're going to teach you at Rev Up, and it all starts with what we're going to talk about today. So let me check my notes and make sure I covered everything. All right. So here's the other piece that's most important about this, and I feel really strongly about this. There's so many of you that are out there trying to build a 6-figure business, and you're struggling, and it's really hard, and it's frustrating and overwhelming and isolating. And my mission, I think, in terms of how I want you to think about what we're going to talk about here tonight, and really in everything that you do in your business, is that if you do what I say, if you follow a plan, if you manage what we're going to talk about tonight, overwhelm and procrastination, it doesn't have to be a struggle. Did I work hard? Do I work hard to create what I have in my business? Absolutely. But is it a struggle? Is there resistance? Not at all. So if you follow the system and you do the work, you can create success without having to work hard, feel like it's a struggle, be stressed out, feel alone, feel isolated, and sit there and stare at your computer not knowing what it is that you need to do. So if you are ready to figure out how to manage overwhelm and beat procrastination, raise your hand, so let's get started. All right. When I was thinking about this topic, I was like, who is this for? Who is this for? Well, this is for you, my friends, if, and we had a live version of this last night in my house, so I was right there with the people. This talk tonight is for you if you don't know what to do, and you don't know what order to do it in, and you spend a lot of time staring at your computer screen, not knowing what to do, and you end up on Facebook, or maybe you listen to a free class, and then you feel like crap all day long because you didn't get anything done. Sound familiar? This is for you if you have so many opportunities coming towards you and you actually don't know what to follow through on, that you are paralyzed by analysis paralysis, and you're tired of working so hard on bright, shiny objects or things that are fun that don't pay you. This is definitely for you. If you're overwhelmed because you see a vision, you know in your soul you're meant for great things, but no matter how hard you try and you keep trying harder, you're still not making the money that you want to make. This is for you if you suffer from perfectionism. If you are so busy getting ready to get ready that you just stay behind your computer designing great ideas and flyers and banners and your website looks amazing, but you're terrified to go out and talk about what it is you do. You haven't given any workshops or talks, and nobody knows that you're the best kept secret. So if you're in the right place, then stick around. I want you to stay till the end, okay? Because I have a little, I'm teasing you. I have a little teaser. I'm actually going to tell you my secret trick. You can get a day's, actually, yeah, I'm going to say a day to 2 days worth of work done in less than 3 hours. This is foolproof. In fact, when I revealed it last night at the live workshop, people were like writing it down. They were like, that's amazing. And you know what? I was like, how many people already do this? And nobody raised their hand. So you're going to want to stay to the end to get that. Okay. So if you follow the system, if you follow all the very practical tips and strategies that I'm going to talk about tonight, and you follow our Rev Up system as part of that, here's what's going to happen. You're going to add $10,000 a month to your revenue ultimately. Yeah, for sure. Could happen fast. You're going to blow people away with how confident and productive you are. They're going to ask you, how do you get so much energy? It seems like everybody knows you. It seems like you're everywhere. How do you do it? How do you do it? You're going to stop hiding an I don't know. I don't know will no longer be your default, and you won't be ashamed of not knowing what to do. And when you don't know what to do, it won't matter because you'll have a place to go to find out. How would that be? And you'll have a structure in place. I'm going to share it all with you tonight. 5 simple steps to actually build that 6-figure business. Now, of course, we have to handle what's going on in here. Because if you don't have this piece done, the overwhelm, procrastination, the I don't know, the guilt, the shame, then no matter how much you produce, you won't be in alignment. So it's really important tonight that we really focus in on what I call unlocking your wealth set. So let's get started with that. All right. Now, one of the things we're going to cover, I'm going to tell you, is I'm going to tell you why you're not moving forward and growing your business. And it's a lot of the inner work right up here that's holding you back. I'm going to help you master overwhelm. Last night someone said, I want an antidote for what we call FOMO, the fear of missing out. Right? Like I'm overworking, I'm taking every opportunity, I'm clicking on every download. Like what if this is it? What if this is it? What if I'm missing out? So I'm going to help you overcome FOMO and overwhelm. I'm going to teach you a life-changing principle. This one's going to blow you away. This was another one. When we did it last night, this was the #1 takeaway from a lot of people. I'm going to share you this approach to your business and life around overwhelm that will take you out of feeling like a victim permanently. Pretty cool. And I'm going to, of course, tell you the steps that you need. What do you need to have in place so that once your mindset and your wealth set is on fire, you can actually execute. Now, I'm going to tell you as much as I can tonight about this wealth set piece, the managing overwhelm and procrastination. And I'm going to tell you what that is in terms of actually then creating the business, right? The practical how to, what do you do first? What do you do next? I'm going to tell you all that. And then for some of you, you're going to be like, as my friend Lisa Sasevich says, it's going to be like water in the desert. This is going to be like, yes, Marnie is my person. I want to do this. And I'm going to tell you how you can actually join us next week for 3 days to walk through this system from the comfort of your own home. Pretty cool. You're going to love it, and it's going to change your year. Okay, so I'm taking you behind the curtain today. I'm telling you all, I even put up a curtain because I'm taking you behind the curtain. So let's do this. Okay, to become a 6-figure coach, you have to, what I call, unlock your wealth set. Your wealth set. Now, some might call it mindset. You could call it law of attraction. You could call it the universe manifesting. I don't care what you call it, actually. But what I call a wealth set is, do you have thinking that is in line with creating abundance? Now, this can impact and leak into all areas of your business if you do not have an in-tune, optimized wealth set. And the very most basic symptom or effect of not having a good wealth set is that you get overwhelmed, you shut down, you don't get anything done, and or you procrastinate. Now, you are all very smart, wise coaches. So here's the thing. Overwhelm and procrastination don't look like sitting in front of the television watching episodes of House Hunters International. No, they're masked. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what it's really doing to you and your business, even though To the outside world, it might look like you're very, very busy. Okay. So first of all, let's talk about overwhelm. Let me get a drink of water. What is overwhelm? How does it show up really in a coach's world? Like I said, you guys aren't sitting around eating bonbons. I know that. So I'm going to tell you 3 things that are really overwhelm and procrastination. Number 1 is what I call clickitis. Clickitis. Clickitis is you are looking for something, you're doing some research, maybe you're even looking for an old email. Has this ever happened to you? You're looking for an old email and you do a search and something comes up and you're like, oh, I never read that article. And you click on that and then that one's really interesting and then you click on another one and then before you know it, you forgot what you were doing and you end up on Facebook. In my world, it's like you always end up on Facebook. So clickitis can really seem legitimate. Now, we had a client in here last night who said that up until very recently, he used 50% of his time clicking. And he said it was all research, and it served him well, but once he used these strategies and he managed overwhelm and got rid of clickitis, his productivity went up 50%, and so did his income. Clickitis. That is procrastination, even if it's legit. Okay. Number 2, bright, shiny light syndrome. Now, bright, shiny light syndrome happens when you're basically like a motivated, up, social, you're networking, opportunities are coming in, you're meeting partners, they like want to do projects with you, they want to do workshops, and there's just so many opportunities. And they're bright, shiny lights. And you look away, and you look away, and you look away, and all of a sudden, you don't even know what you're doing anymore. You are working on projects that have nothing to do with really what you do. They may or may not be contributing to your bottom line, but they're cool, and they're fun, and they're hot, and they might make sense. Now, I had a client who was so a victim of bright, shiny light syndrome. And she used to want to, she was really great at networking. She belonged to a lot of different groups, and every time we'd have a session, she'd be like, oh my God, I just got invited to be on the board of directors of X, or I just met this person and she wants to partner with me and do a workshop for this. And she was just wanting to do so many things, and they were all really amazing. The bottom line is she wasn't making any money because she was just creating, and she was reinventing the wheel. So what we had to do was we had to get really laser focused on her vision and her critical musts, which I'm going to teach you about at Rev Up next week, so that you're not actually distracted by bright, shiny lights. Because here's the thing. Bright, shiny lights are procrastination, and they are super overwhelming. Okay. The intellectual pursuit of coaching causes serious overwhelm. It's when we actually are perfectionists and we just stay behind our desk and we are intellectually getting really good at coaching or building a coaching business. We know exactly what it takes to do a teleclass. We know how to do a launch campaign. We have really researched SEO, and the bottom line is we know it all and we've done nothing. Overwhelming and, in fact, procrastination. Okay. Analysis paralysis. Last night there were a lot of hands like, I do this. Overthinking, wanting it to be exactly right. In fact, with technology, if you overanalyze, by the time you come up with a decision, that technology will be obsolete. So we can't afford to do analysis paralysis. Which should I choose? What decision should I make? Who should I go with? Should I name my coaching package this? Should I take this opportunity? Overwhelmed, procrastinating. And then finally, I really see this so often. And I love you people who are perfectionists. I wish in some ways I was more of a perfectionist. Look, see there's a wrinkle on the screen, right? If you're a perfectionist, that would never be there. I noticed in my daughter's high school graduation, she was the kid that's had a gown that wasn't ironed. I'm not a perfectionist, okay? But if you are, you can just be stuck doing things to the degree at which is overkill. One of the clients last night was saying, I am notorious for doing a proposal that really needs to be like a one-pager, and instead it's like a 30-page document with charts. And by the time I get it to the client, they forgot that they even wanted a proposal, and they've hired someone else. That is procrastination. Okay. So why do you have to deal with this? I mean, the thing is, for a lot of you, and this is what we were talking about last night, you're productive, functional people. So you might not even realize that this is impacting your bottom line or holding you back from creating that six-figure business. But I really want to be picky with you because you're smart and you deserve to know that if you don't handle this wealth set piece and get your mind in alignment with creating six figures, it's not going to happen. So let me tell you what happens. Instead, this one breaks my heart. You start to collect evidence that you are not meant to be a successful coach, right? Because everything you do, you know, like that client, that woman who did the big proposal, she was like, oh, every time I guess I'm just not meant to get those big juicy jobs, right? Or you see other people that started when you did and they're like going gangbusters, and you're like, well, maybe I'm not meant to do it. Or it just sucks your energy and your confidence. So when you go out and talk about what you do, you don't even feel prepared or ready. So it's bad news. The other thing is you don't get return on your investments that you make. Kills me. People take classes, even in Dating with Dignity, they take classes, they make investments, and then they don't follow through to completion. So if you're overwhelmed, if you procrastinate, then you don't get a return on the investment you made in your coach training, in your website, all the little things that you try to do to fix things that are Band-Aids. I would rather have you apply the Band-Aid and get the most out of it. But when you're overwhelmed and you don't have the right wealth set, it doesn't happen. Here's the other thing that actually kind of sucks. You don't even get to coach. When you are sitting behind your desk, researching and clicking and making products that you will never ever do, or PowerPoints that you're never going to give, you're not coaching. And in order to be a 100K coach, you got to coach. And you didn't come into this business to do business. You came in to coach. So the more laser focused you are and you have the right mindset and wealth set, the more you actually get to coach. Here's the other thing. It kills your motivation overall. It's like not having that comfy, cozy place to go to every night to sleep and wondering, where am I going to sleep tonight? I mean, you're happy that you have a bed, but you don't really feel solid or connected. And that's no good. And then finally, well, the truth is, and I saw this with so many clients, I want to shake them, they're not making money. And they think it's them. Some of them will even laugh about it, like, ha, 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 my husband's so mad I haven't made money. Is that really funny? Come work with me live. I'll kick your butt. Okay. So here's the thing. Overwhelm and procrastination, they keep you from giving your gift, doing what you're meant to do in the world, serving people, and people don't even get what it is that you do. Because when you are shut down and procrastinated and overwhelmed, you don't talk about what you do. So it's a vicious cycle, really. No one knows if you're the right person to work with. You invested in all these referral groups and lead groups and BNI, and you really don't have anything prepared or ready to talk about, and you feel uncomfortable, and so you're quiet. And as I said before, it kills your spirit. And a coach without spirit is not a coach that's going to manifest revenue and be able to serve. Drowning in a bad wealth set is like a bad dream that you can't wake up from. It really is, right? It's unsettling. Okay, so itch my nose. How do you unlock your wealth set? Well, let's get started. All right, so I want you to really understand why this is important, because if you can make just this one switch in the way you think about yourself and your business, if you change the way you think about yourself, it will impact what you do and how you do it. So with an optimized wealth set, overwhelm and procrastination are diminished or they vanish. Okay? You follow through, you're confident, you're efficient. No more bright, shiny lights. You can discern between good opportunities and opportunities that are interesting and fun, but they don't have ROI. You're consistent. Someone last night was talking about when their wealth set isn't in tune, they're excited after a workshop or a teleclass or a hangout like this, and then 2 days later, they're staring at their computer again. So if you have a powerful wealth set, you're consistent and you stay in action. Finally, you know where you're going, and the excuse, I don't know, is gone. You make more money and you serve more people. So most people are stuck in I don't know because they don't want to deal with it. It's too big because they're trying to avoid overwhelm. So let's just start right now with the understanding between us that if you're not failing once a day, you're probably not working hard enough. You're not pushing yourself out of your comfort hard enough. Because part of having an optimal wealth set is that it's okay to fail. Yeah, it's okay to fail. Because you have an overall core belief in your confidence and your value. And you're abundant. You know it will come. When you manage overwhelm really well and you stop procrastinating, you will emerge as a leader in your expertise very quickly. Now let me tell you a story about a client of mine. My client spent 3 years in overwhelm and procrastination. She tried to coach full-time. She ended up taking a part-time job. She started to make a little money in that job. Then she got kind of mad because then she felt like she wasn't hungry for coaching. And when she came to me, one of the first things we had to do was really kick overwhelm and procrastination to the curb. Now, fast forward a year and a half later, she had a telesummit. She doubled her list. She was working with Laurel Langemeyer in an interview, Rhonda Britton. She had like the big people on her telesummit. She's got a membership program. She did a retreat. She got focused. So the bottom line is that if you don't do this, you will be in slow motion. So I'm going to teach you 2 major principles to get us started with unlocking our wealth set. So unlock your wealth set. The first thing is this, and this is sort of like, this is going to change your life. Let me get a drink of water. Here's the thing, kids. Overwhelm is self-imposed. Overwhelm is self-imposed. Write that one down. Overwhelm comes from not taking responsibility for our choices, for our vision, and for our actions. So when we get in that moment of like, I'm overwhelmed, I don't know what to do, I really want you to start owning the fact that you do know what to do. Possibly you don't want to deal with it. Possibly you don't believe in yourself. Possibly you've asked so many people for their opinion. You've lost connection with yourself and your intuition and your inner directed CEO. The bottom line is that overwhelm is self-imposed. Your success depends on your ability to understand this concept and then be powerful enough to stop overwhelm when it happens, because it's a big, giant, nasty avalanche. Number 2, if overwhelm is self-imposed and you're in that choice point, then the best thing I can tell you to do is to have clarity. If you have a system, a blueprint, a roadmap, if you have specific step-by-step directions, then when you get overwhelmed and you realize it's self-imposed, you can deal with the why it happened later, but in the meantime, you can actually open up whatever document it is or resource that you're using, hopefully it's the Rev Up Blueprint, and literally look and say, okay, here's where I am. What I need to do next is this. Here's how I execute that. And for those of you that come to Rev Up or do it from the comfort of your own home, every single day you're going to have a list of action steps. So when you're overwhelmed and you realize it's self-imposed, it's really important that you get clarity. Whether it's from your calendar, from your financial statements, from your critical musts for the year, for a deadline that you have upcoming, written down clarity will take the guessing away and get you out of your head and imagining and put it into something concrete. I have found in my own life and with my clients that the overwhelm comes from lack of clarity, and most of the time what we imagine is not even close to what is true and what is written down. Okay, so you need to understand that overwhelm is self-imposed, and then you need to have some sort of plan so that when you get overwhelmed, you have the clarity that you need to step out of it. Make sense? You're all going, yes, makes sense. Okay, so let's get into the nitty-gritty here. Let's look at what I call the first 100K action plan. So now we're going to actually look at what is it that you need to do to have a powerful wealth set so that you're conscious and aware and you take responsibility and you're able to execute the plan, whatever plan it is. Okay, so I love acronyms. I wish we had a little chalkboard, but I don't. I was like looking around for a Sharpie, and I don't really have an assistant here right now, just a husband. Okay, so the first letter of action is A. So in order to have a powerful wealth set, look, I even stood up when I said powerful wealth set, or sat up straight, is you have to act like a CEO. And I would ask you, just like I asked the group last night, how many of you see yourself, define yourself in your business as a CEO? You make decisions like a CEO, you follow through to completion like a CEO, you delegate like a CEO. Because in order to have a powerful wealth set, you have to have the wealth set of a CEO. So that's A. The C is consistent. We talked about this a little bit before. A powerful wealth set is not something you do by saying an affirmation every Wednesday on the third month when you get overwhelmed by your bills and you remember that you should say affirmations, right? Or it's not working really hard for 2 days and then being completely burned out and not working for a week. It's not getting excited after a teleclass or a Google Hangout or something and not having support so that you just stay back into your default of like, ugh, right? So you need to be consistent. I highly recommend that you have a support group or a mentor to keep you consistent. And of course, if you come to Rev Up, we are going to teach you how to do that. And in fact, for those 3 days, you are definitely going to have a built-in mastermind group. Okay, so act like a CEO, consistency in everything that you do. This will create a powerful wealth set. Remember, powerful wealth set, no overwhelm, no procrastination. The T is timely. You have to follow through to completion. I can't believe how many of you have started things, you have 14 things started and you haven't finished any of them, or maybe you finished one. This will be the death of you. Now remember, you want to stay till the end because I'm going to give you a little tipster about how you can get a lot of work done in less than 3 hours. Following through to completion is going to be your savior. So let's talk about some very specific tips now. I'm all about very specific takeaway today. What can we do to follow through to completion? Number one, time blocking. Time blocking is where you actually pre-plan a week, 2 weeks, a month, 3 weeks ahead what it is that you're going to do at what time of the day, and you actually put it in the calendar like it's an appointment. Now, when I was preparing for Rev Up, which is next week, and I had my honeymoon, right, my wedding that was a month or so ago, I time blocked the crap out of my life, right? So it was like, I'm going to work on this section of the content on Monday from 9 to 12, and then I'm going to do this section of the content, and then I'm going to record this teleclass for my dating business over here. Every single thing is calendared, and if you're like, oh, but I want to be flexible, I'm going to tell you that you can be flexible within restraint. I call it flexible restraint, right? So you can eat pizza, but don't eat one piece of pizza. Don't eat 7 pieces of pizza. Eat 1 piece of pizza, right? So you can have flexibility, but when you time block, you build in that flexibility, right? It's really important. And when you have a busy life, you have a husband, you have kids, you have a part-time job, you have a full-time job, time blocking is going to save your life. Okay, number 2 little tip. And this is like, I'm not, what's the guy with the 4-hour work week? I'm not him. So I believe in faux email answering and then real email answering. What is that, you say? All right. So I want you to ultimately answer your email in the morning after you get one major thing done. And we're going to talk about that in a minute. But I'm a believer in what I call the faux email check. Now, if I was probably more spiritual, I wouldn't have my telephone and my email right by my bedside. But I told you I'm keeping it real. I do. I have my phone by my bed. So after I wake up and I roll around, I do the one-eyed email read, right? I glance through my emails. It's actually the start of my workday. And I answer really quickly to those that are yes, no, maybe. And then I mark as unread, or I don't open anything that requires effort. And then I'm done. And I set it aside. And then I actually go through and follow through on the task that I have time blocked out. And then at 10:30 or 11 or whenever it is, I answer my email. Answer your email in the morning. Checking into Facebook first thing. Those will kill your CEO-ness. They will suck your wealth set. In fact, after I do the one-eyed check, I actually have a practice, which I'm going to tell you about in a second, to get my wealth set totally optimized. It's like wealth set push-ups. Okay. The other way to follow through to completion on tasks is to reward yourself with what I would call a nature break. Or while you're doing a task, do it outside. So telephone calls, if you have a little patio and you consider writing an email outside, being in nature, getting fresh air, honestly, it totally keeps your wealth set pumped up. I can't wait. I don't know if I'm going to be able to wait till the end to give you my really exciting tip that's going to have you get so much work done in less than 3 hours. Because it's just, I could tell you right now, but I'm not. Okay. So the next tip, follow through to completion, honestly, is socialization and accountability. When I very first started my business, I used to have power days with some of my colleagues, and we would gather in one location, and we would tell each other what it was that we were going to get done, and we'd sit there and we'd just work. We wouldn't talk, you know, and we would reach our goal, and when we reached our goal, we would check in, then we'd socialize for 10 or 15, 20 minutes. Maybe we'd eat some food, and then we'd, right? So socialization and accountability, and then finally structure. And I said this before, but it's really important. When you have a plan and you know what to do, then you get less overwhelmed and you have more clarity. You do not get distracted by bright, shiny objects. And opportunities that you take are well defined because they fit within your vision. All right, we're back to our action, right? So we did act like a CEO, do it consistently, timeliness. I gave you some tips for how you can follow through to completion. And then we want to use the I, which is invested and intentional. In order to really overcome overwhelm and have a really strong wealth set, you have to be energetically invested into your business and, quite frankly, financially. You have to be able to make some sort of investment so that it lights a fire. It really does. I wish that weren't the truth. But those people who are invested, even in a smaller way, if they do a little website, right, or they get business cards made, their intention is put out in the world through their investments. So to have a powerful wealth set, you have to be intended and you have to invest. And then finally, the N is this. You have to have at least one non-negotiable a day that you do. It's like, whatever it is, this is the one thing I'm going to do, and hopefully it's something that really is related to ROI, right? It's going to bring dollars in your pocket. So often people spend time doing the things that are fun or that they are more comfortable to do, whereas even though making calls and trying to get people to support them in a workshop, for example, they feel bad, they procrastinate, they don't do it. That is not having an in-tune wealth set. Okay, so that's our action plan. Now, let's talk about the last thing that we've got to do, and I mentioned this at the beginning, but it is really important for an in-tune wealth set, and that is that you have to banish perfectionism. Now, at Rev Up, we're going to talk about this extensively, but I'm going to tell you how to be, how to know what is good enough and how to know what really is rushing it. So I'm going to help you figure that out if you come. Okay. All right. So it's really awesome. And by the way, remember, I'm going to open it up to questions at the end. So stay on, my viewers who are here. We're going to talk about this content, any other questions that you have. So we'll be doing that in about 15 minutes. My nose is just really itching. If anyone boxes, do you ever box and the minute you put the gloves on, your nose itches? It's really bad. Anyway, okay. So let's talk about this next piece. So we've like pumped up our wealth set, right? Hopefully you're like, yes, I'm going to be productive. I'm going to be focused. I'm going to follow through to completion. I'm going to see myself as a CEO. I'm going to be consistent about it. I'm not going to click around. I'm not going to get distracted. That is like amazing, and it'll put you miles ahead of yourself and a lot of people on the planet who are trying to be coaches that create that six-figure business. But here's the thing. If you don't have your big plan, then when you get that overwhelm moment and you go to have clarity and there's nothing to look at, you've got your Houston, we've got a problem. Okay. So what we're going to talk about now is, so what is the plan? I'm going to deliver on a little platter the plan. So whether you decide you want to work with me on the plan or not, you're going to know exactly the 5 steps that you need to execute on. So once you realize that overwhelm is self-imposed, you take a deep breath, you follow this blueprint. If you don't have a blueprint, I'm going to remind you, it will impact your conversations, it will impact your confidence, nobody will know you, therefore nobody will buy from you. And so the truth is that while mastering your wealth set is critical and important, if you don't have the plan, it's like having a two-legged bar stool. Okay. So I'm going to share where this wealth set comes from, and it really is in this 5-step blueprint. The blueprint gives you like a 40-foot view, right? It's the online and offline, where am I going, what do I need to do, and in what order. The blueprint gives you a place to create products, name them, price them, and it teaches you how to sell them. It will give you an opportunity to know exactly what you need to do online so that you spend appropriately at the right times and get a return on your investment. It will tell you exactly where to get clients and how to get clients that will actually pay you, not the ones that are broke. And it will tell you the specific order in which to do it all. So, would you like to know that? I bet you would. All right. Because here's the thing, bottom line, and I was just listening to a meditation about this. Having a powerful wealth set is actually not enough to pay the bills. I love the law of attraction, but you cannot like vision yourself to paying the bills. You have to have a wealth set and you have to be in action. Okay. So unlocking your wealth set is one of the 5 steps in our Rev Up system. Okay, I told you I was a fan of acronyms, right? So we're going to go over those 5 steps right now. And whether you do it alone or whether you do it with me, and I'm going to tell you more about how you can do that without leaving your home. These are the 5 steps. So write this down. So the R is reveal your distinction. Now, this is a deeper and bigger conversation than niche. Niche is schmitch. Niche, smitch, who cares? I amuse myself. Okay, so your niche is your sort of like, yeah, I'm a dating coach. But your distinction is how you bring you, your personality, your training, your expertise, your victim to victory story, who you like to work with. It brings all of that into your 2 minutes TS sales conversation so that when you're talking to someone about what it is that you do, they instantly feel like that you can describe their pain better than they can. So you're obviously the solution. And if they're not your ideal client, they are going to have loads of people to refer. So we're going to walk through all of that at Rev Up, but the most important thing is to really think about how can you bring you and your personality to what makes you distinct. Once you have a niche, how can you bring you and your distinction to your brand, to your logo, to your messaging, to your social media, to your coaching packages, the way you name them, to what you dress like? All of that makes you distinct. The E is establish your expertise. Okay, so remember, you're overwhelmed. You're like, I don't know my niches. Okay, great. Well, let's focus in on what are the steps that I use to reveal my distinction. And yes, I'm going to be sort of obnoxious about it. If you come to LA or you do the very special thing that you can do in front of your computer at home, you're going to actually walk through the paperwork to do it. Okay, so you're going to have a plan, but if you don't do it with me, I want you to start answering the questions that I just said. Who do you work with? What makes you unique? How does your personality fit in, etc.? Okay, establish your expertise is how do you create transformation? What is your body of work, so to speak? What is your process, your system? Really, establish your expertise is the answer to the question, oh, okay, so, well, how does it work? Okay? Your expertise is created through what we call your signature system, and usually it's 5 to 7 steps. Even if you've never worked with a client before, I promise you, inside your soul, because of your own experiences, you have a signature system. And guess what? Of course, we're going to actually help you create your signature system next week. Now, here's the other thing about the signature system and establishing your expertise. Once you have your body of work, it will help you write blog posts, write social media posts, write workshops, preview calls, just like we're doing today. And you won't have to reinvent the wheel. It will save you so much time, you won't be overwhelmed, and you will know what to do. Okay. The V in Rev Up is, we invented it, visibilitize yourself. You have to be visible. People have to find you, and you need a visibility plan. You need a visibility plan online, and you need a visibility plan offline. Now, speaking is part of the visibility plan, and when you come to Rev Up, I'm going to talk to you about the continuum of speaking, because speaking isn't about just getting on a stage in front of 200 people. It's speaking at your networking group. It's speaking at the PTA. So bottom line is you really need to have a plan so that you can get out and be visible and be known and be seen. Visibility is really what I would call our leverage business model, because with the visibility and credibility, you become known and you give off the feeling like you're everywhere and opportunities will start flooding in. Okay. The U we talked about, unlocking your wealth set, right? A wealth attraction mindset. The other piece that we didn't talk about tonight is making friends with sales. We talked about that last night a little bit. One of the gentlemen who's coming actually to Rev Up said, you know, I feel like confident sometimes, but the thought of selling totally messes with my mindset. So unlocking your wealth set, making friends with sales, learning how to sell without being salesy, and owning your value are going to be key pieces of creating your 6-figure business. And then finally, the P of Rev Up is persuade your prospect. You have to know how to sell. It's kind of interesting. I'm a dating coach, so people will say like, well, are there dating skills that you have to master? I mean, you just go out and you're yourself. And I tell people it's the 21st century. You have to learn how to use social media and Tinder and online dating and how to write a profile and what pictures should you take and what should you say on a first date and when should, there's a lot of rules, well, guidelines. Okay, so here's the thing. Selling is not a gift. It's not something you're born with. It's something you learn how to do. I was a teacher. I sold 3-year-olds on the idea of nap time. So you have to master the skills regarding sales. And if you come, we're going to teach you our bullseye system, which makes selling feel like you're coaching. So you definitely want to come learn that. Okay. So reveal your expertise, or reveal your distinction, establish your expertise, visibilitize yourself, unlock your wealth set, and persuade your people. So I promised you I was going to tell you, ta-da, how can you actually come join us? And we're having, I'm really excited about this, we are having a live stream. We've just made it available in the last 24 hours. Now, I'm going to try something for technology, and hopefully my team will tell me if this showed up on the chat. But I'm going to put on the link for you, and let me try this too, because I'm going to put it here too. See if that works. It says loading. It's coming. We'll see. Successfully save pending. Oh, there it is. It should be there. It's Rev Up Live, and I'll look and see if our tech team can tell us if the link went live. And I'll find out, but hopefully it's there. Okay, so it's a live stream. Normally it's $3.97 to come to the live stream. It's literally you'll get a password, you're going to sit down, you're going to see everything. You're going to see me on the stage, you're going to see the back of the people, you're going to be able to interact. I'm going to ask you questions, you'll be able to participate, you're going to have all the handouts and the action guide, everything except actually doing the work, you know, with the people that are in partners and the networking. But it's really, really going to be amazing. We did this for my Dating with Dignity event, and people were so happy because wherever they were able to participate. So let me tell you about Rev Up. And of course, if you're in the LA area or you want to come live, you can still come join us live. So 3 days, just put the final touches on the content. It is fun. You're going to laugh. You're going to role play. You're going to learn how to sell. You're going to practice saying what you do. You're going to get feedback from me. You're going to get coaching from me. You're going to get coaching from your peers. You're going to network, right? You're going to get inspiration. You're going to get magic. And you're going to walk out of there with an action plan. You're going to walk out of there with work actually completed. This isn't just a bunch of ideas and me doing the talking and the lecturing. And you're going to have a to-do list. But when you get overwhelmed, you're going to know exactly what to do and in what order. Let's see. You're going to stop the bullshit with sales, right? No more sabotaging. I'm going to teach you how to sell. I'm going to help you put an end to the isolation. You are not alone. And I'm also bringing in some of my friends and colleagues who said, yes, Marnie, I will support you and I will come speak. So I have 3 speakers who are going to insert very specific skills that are not my area of expertise. So Lisa Sasevich is going to teach you how to make irresistible offers. Really important. It's going to help you use the bullseye sales system to the max. Noah St. John is going to talk about power habits and really build on what we're talking now about, like, how do you really be the CEO of a 6-figure business. And then my dear friend Liana Choli is going to talk about, when you look at revealing your distinction, what is your image? What are the clothes that you wear? What are you putting out there, and how's that impacting your bottom line? You're going to love it. It's going to be 3 full days. 8:30 to 5 on day 1, starting on Wednesday. 2 for those who come live. We have a little networking event. Thursday, it's 8:30 to 5. You'll have a little break to take dinner. And then from, I think, 7 to 8:30, we're going to do a special session on where to get clients. So at the end of that, you're going to have a list of where to go get high-paying clients that will pay you top dollar. And then on Friday, day 3, we are going to be there from 8:30 to 4. So I highly, highly encourage you to take advantage of this amazing offer, because I have walked in your shoes. I have seen clients who do this and clients who don't. And if you have a great wealth set and you're positive and you're like, oh, it'll all be fine, it won't all be fine if you don't follow a plan. Flexible restraint. All right, let's see. Let me make sure I mentioned everything. We've got Rev Up. Yes. Got that. Okay, so the link has been posted somewhere. Okay, so live stream link is actually in a post right below the screen, so you want to go there and look for that. Okay, so we've got about 7 minutes. I want to answer a couple of the questions that we usually get, and then I'm going to open it up to questions, although I'm wondering if I'm not seeing the chat, how we're going to manage that, but maybe Brady can help me with that. So let's go. Let me answer the questions that we get. First of all, this is a lot of money. How do I know what makes this different? Well, the thing is, I mean, really, in terms of like what you should be charging for your coaching, $397 is, dear Lord, I hope you're charging at least that much for 1 or 2 coaching sessions. And by the time you walk out of our event, you will know how to do that. So if it will save you the stress from being overwhelmed, it will give you confidence, it'll give you a plan, and you're going to get clients from it, why would you not spend $397? Because part of the action plan, remember, is you're invested and your actions show your intention to create success. So I would say if you think like that's too much, and today it's $297 to watch the live stream, I would kind of say, how serious are you about really creating a business? Because $297 is kind of a smoking deal. Okay. Is this a multi-speaker pitch-a-thon event? No. Right? Of course, our speakers are going to invite you to work with them if you want, those 3 speakers, but it's not a pitch-a-thon. I am teaching the entire time, and I swear to you, you are going to work your butt off. I used to be a teacher. I have a master's in education. We did a lot of mastermind retreats, and it was a lot of feedback and interacting and role-playing, and really this event is a hybrid. It's more of a retreat than a live event, because you're actually going to get to have some opportunities to do some work, and I promise you, you're going to laugh your butt off because we are actually going to have fun. What if I'm just getting started and I don't even have my niche? That's great. Let me get my hands on you now, because we will just unravel this. Actually, once you register, you're going to get pre-work, an email, and that'll help you start to unlock. Our process is like, I don't know, it's like magical. It was a divine download. Put it on paper. We've been doing it for 3 years. You walk through this process, connect the dots. We will be able to help you figure out your niche. So just get started on that, and then we can coach with you, and we'll make sure it's all nailed down next Tuesday, by the end of the day, really. All right. I'm going to give you that tip now, and Brady's going to be so happy because we're exactly at the top of the hour. So what is that tip that I wanted to share with you that will allow you to get, like, I don't know, 5 days of work done in 3 hours? This has changed my life. It's also the one that when we did the live workshop last night, people were like, wow, I don't do that. Okay, so it's a challenge, actually. I'm going to issue a challenge for you to do this. And it's a 3-day challenge. And for those of you who come to work with me, either live or on live stream, you're going to be living the challenge with me, having accountability. And it's this. Either the night before or the morning, after you maybe do the one-eyed email check, you're going to sit up, and you're going to write down 5 things that you must accomplish today, your 5 goals for the day. It can be like finish a PowerPoint, go to the bank. It could be call and schedule my doctor's appointments, right? But there are those things that, like, your day isn't going to end unless they're done. And you keep this piece of paper. I do it in a notebook, and it's old-fashioned, and it stays in front of your desk or where you work all the time. Because I used to, back in the day, write things on my phone, and then I would never even look at that part of my phone, or on Evernote, or putting it on my calendar. I've tried it all. This is foolproof. The bottom line is when you have those 5 things written down and you do the one-eyed email check, you wake up, you have your coffee, you've got your list, and you focus for 3 hours. You don't check Facebook and you don't check your email, you're going to be blown away with how much work you get done. So we're going to do that 3 days, 3-day challenge next week. Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. If you want to come to LA, you got mileage, come with us, come join us. If you got to stay at home, definitely click this link and get the live stream and join us. The other thing is it's recorded, the live stream, so then you're going to have access to it. So if you have to step out, you have to take the kids to camp, you'll be able to catch up, no problemo. It includes the action guide and all the support materials that you're going to need. All right. That's all that I have. Questions? Yay! I love you. Mwah, questions. I do. Okay, so this is Kelly, and so we're really smart. Brady's in my ear. I feel like I'm Jack Bauer on 24, and you're Chloe. And I'm like, Chloe, I hear you. Copy that. Okay, so Kelly said she's got a couple of ideas about which direction she wants to go for her niche. And do I have a process that I walk people through? And yes, this is my miracle process. It was literally downloaded from me about 3 years ago. And as a person who comes to RevUp, you're going to actually get this emailed to you pretty much right away. And it is a series, it's paperwork, but it's a series of very well thought out questions that you have actually never asked yourself that will help you connect the dots to what your niche is. And we look at a lot of things like not only what is your victim to victory story, and we're going to do an exercise actually at RevUp to sort of take you out of the box of what you think your victim to victory story is and give you some more options. Because when I coach people and I really talk about who you are and what you are in the world, we find the common thread. So let me give you a great example. I was working with a client named Lizelle, and she left South Africa when she was like 20 to get married, and she was like, I don't know, like I was a risk taker, nobody did that, maybe I should work with expats, maybe I should work with people who come to America, maybe I should do this, but then also, oh my God, I love to volunteer, and I work with children's organizations, and I'm a really big volunteer, and I'm really passionate about that, and well then, you know, my kids are atypical, and I really, you know, I just feel like moms don't have a lot of support, and I really had to overcome my struggle of mothering atypical kids. And when she did the paperwork, and then we had this conversation, I was like, every single thing is like, you're an advocate. You're an advocate. You're an advocate for kids. You're an advocate for living the life that you were meant to live. And she ended up birthing her company called Mothering Outside the Lines. And so it's from looking at all those commonalities, and it really helps to have an outside perspective because we can see things that you can't see because it's you. You just think that it is what it is and they're not connected. But I guarantee you if you do this paperwork and do this process, we will be able to connect the dots, and you will not only find your niche, but you'll be able to brand yourself in a way that makes you different from any other coach in that niche. So hopefully that answered Kelly's questions. Yay! All right, Kelly, we've already helped her. She's coming to rev up, so we are solid on Kelly. All right, so when I'm like quiet, I'm listening to Brady if you're playing along. So what's the next question? Well, first of all, hi, Kalpana. I love you. And yes, in fact, some of your members in your other community are going to be there. I think most of them are not certified in coaching. So, no, you do not need to be a certified coach to come to RevUp. In fact, when I started my coaching business, I did this work before I walked into coaching certification. So when I went through the program that I chose to go to, because I chose to do that, I was miles ahead of everyone else because everything I was doing wasn't just like, maybe I'll do this, maybe I'll do that. I was actually practicing in the moment in the niche that I wanted to do. So I highly recommend. Plus, if you're thinking that this is something that you want to do, what a great way to spend 3 days in a room full of real life coaches. And I would love to see you. Brady, did we do that with Ignite Your Life? I can't honestly remember if the question was, if you come live, do you get access to the live stream recording? So the question. All right, so Lori, Brady said she will have to check with support, and we will let you know, and she has your email as a result of being here on this call, so she will follow up with you immediately. Well, not immediately, as soon as she hears back from the team member that would know that. Yes, bring. Okay, so this is for Kay. Yes, bring your pre-work to Rev Up for sure. I mean, if you don't bring it, that's okay, but if you have it, bring it. And part two, you know what? I possibly didn't because you didn't miss it. You caught me. Thank you. Mwah. The O is overcoming overwhelm. You will, so ask Brady. Part of being an entrepreneur is that it's easy to get overwhelmed every single day. So we actually have to overcome overwhelm by using the strategies that I mentioned and then actually preventing overwhelm by using the strategies that I mentioned. So overwhelm has to be vanished. Lori and Joe in our Arizona crew, mwah, we are so excited to see you also. It's going to be awesome, and I bet it's really cool here, so you're going to be happy to not be melting from the desert heat also. Okay. Okay, great. So if you have any questions about the content or about RevUp, you're going to type something in the little box that says "Say Something," which is the name of a song I really like by Gwen Stefani and some guy. Anyway, say something and type it in, and then Brady will read it in my ear because I want to make sure that you have all your questions answered. And also maybe the link could be reposted if it's lost to get your live stream ticket if you cannot make it live. We definitely want to play with you next week over the internet. Any more questions, Brady? Awesome. So the link to the live stream has been reposted at the top of the question box. I know that if you were receiving an email about this, it said that we're going to tell you how to get rid of UGG. I'll never finish this. And I want to be able to address that because ultimately, if you unlock your wealth set and you follow the Rev Up system, you will completely vanish. I'll never finish this. We give you so many tips here and strategies today. The bottom line is if you're thinking things like I'll never finish this, it's time to really look at like why are you telling yourself, because what it is that you say you're going to create. So be really clear and clean with the words that you say even when you're super frustrated. So any last questions before we say goodbye or good night for now? Absolutely. You will know what to do and in what order because we're going to actually do an exercise where we look at the whole visibility plan and you're going to analyze what you're doing and what you're not doing and where the gaps are. And then you're going to be able to fill in like this is what I need to do then next. And you'll walk away after every day with a place to write down all your action items and deadlines. No stone left unturned at RevUp. Any other questions? Awesome. Okay. So we don't have any more questions. So if you have questions, logistics questions, technical questions, you're going to email support at first 100K Coach Academy. That is a long ass word. Support at first 100K Coach Academy, and someone from our team will help you. I really encourage you to come. You know, I've been working with coaches for the last 3 years in a variety of different modalities and programs and classes, and This really is the culmination of all the work and everything that those coaches who have created amazing, successful brands are doing. And so if you decide that you don't want to be a wannabe coach and you want to be a coach, then I highly recommend you either get your butt on a plane and come join us in LA next week, or click the link and join us for the live stream. Remember, for about 24 hours, it's $100 off. It's $297, smoke and deal, sort of no reason to not be there. Brady, anything else you need me to tell the peeps? How to monetize writing opportunities. Well, so part of visibility is to get your content out on the internet. There's one caveat. There has to be something in it for you, and that means there's a direct link back to your website. And hopefully, and we're going to talk about this at RevUp, your website is monetized so that when someone goes to your website, they're asked to join, right? So you can collect leads. There's a place for their email and they get something in return. So yeah, it's really good to write and have SEO-friendly material all over the internet with direct links. Now here's one warning. There are some sites that will say, hey, come be an expert with us, and they might even ask you for money, for the privilege. Make sure that there is the link directly back to your site, because often they'll put the article and then the link is not to your site, it's to their site. So it's a lot of clicking to have to get back to you. So whenever you post anything, make sure there's a direct link back to your site and that your website is optimized to then collect leads. So hopefully that answered your question and that I understood it correctly. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I'm so excited to meet you in person, see you online. Again, click the link below. It's $297 for the next 24 hours. If you're coming, bring a friend. We have a special friend discounts. You can email support at First100K Coach Academy and get them a smoking deal. Remember that it can happen for you. You are not inherently successful. You were not born with it. You can master it and you can learn it. You just need proven strategies so that you can be on your way to your first 100K. All right, ladies and gentlemen, mwah. Thank you for hanging out. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.